That's number?
Number 5.
Okay. It's delightful out here.
It's really delightful.
Oh, that would be lovely if we could have some nice wine to go with this beautiful weather.
You have lots of wine here.
The wine we have, I said nice wine. Maybe you'll surprise us with the next.
I have good news for it.
Oh,
The
good.
second wine was the worst for today, so the others are better.
Okay.
Way better.
Okay.
You know, it's,
We'll be the judge of that.
Speaking of judging, when I would tell people who are not in the wine business, oh yeah, I'm going off to judge a wine competition, and they say, oh, how much fun that must be. And then they don't realize that at 8:30 in the morning, you're sitting with, I don't know, about to taste 36 inexpensive Cabernets or Merlots or Chardonnays that are, costs under $10, and that is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to find wines to give medals to, and sometimes it's
really hard.
it's really hard. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
It was a better flight, but it's harder to get to grips with them because they were so over the top.
And so tannic. Peter, you up for the first one?
I'm up first? Okay. Deep ruby, opaque, almost black, deep mulberry legs, and a heavy extract. Still, this unbelievably heavy extract here. Venus, quite forward, bit of VA you would expect on a wine like this. Some sweetness. And then I got, when I came back to it, I got a characteristic of some black currants. Swedish entry, very alcoholic, very tannic, a little bit short. It's got good acid. It's very Amarone-like, so it's super ripe. It's obviously very warm climate wine, but they were given lemons and they're making lemonade. A little bit bitter, but an Amarone-like bitterness.
What do you
At
mean
the
by
back.
it? Giving a lemon and they make...
When the good Lord sees fit to give you lemons, you make lemonade. In other words, you deal with things as they are. You get big, ripe fruit, you make big wine. It was better than I first thought. I now think it's Lodi Cabernet, and I liked it. I don't want to drink it, but from a genre perspective, I liked it. I thought they did a good job. And finally, with these 4 wines, we're getting some minerality on these wines, which I always look for in more expensive wines, and we've had more of it in the cheaper flights over the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, quite happy with that wine overall. Not going to drink it, but I like it.
I told you the wines would be better than the second wine.
Yeah.
I did the same dance as Peter, and so let's see what it is.
All right, let's see what it is. Wine number 5, Ghost Pines
Cabernet.
It is from California. 43% Lake County and 40% Sonoma County.
Wow.
17% Napa County.
Oh, that's amazing. What's the vintage?
2017.
And the price.
17.
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that it's California Cab.
You called it California.
I called it Lodi Cab.
It's in California.
Yes, but there's no Lodi in here. It's Napa, Sonoma, and Lake County. They're all areas that do not produce these kind of wines, generally speaking. Napa can, but they prefer it not to.
And what do you think about the quality?
It's clean. There's lots of fruit there. At cellar temperature, I could drink a glass of that.
Right. Terrible label.
It is, yeah.
What sort of label?
Terrible
I
label.
think it's an excellent label.
You really? Really?
Shows you what I know. Based on a history of buying wine, I'm a pretty good taster. I'm really bad at picking good labels.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is not a good label.
I think it's lovely. Just what I think, but obviously I have a history of not calling the labels right.
All right. Wine is okay. Then it's fine. Then, Patrick,
Yes.
number 6.
So garnet red with some clearing at the rim. There's some quince-air, red fruit, vanilla, a bit tart, some lactic notes on the finish. I thought more likely Chile, Cabernet, and okay.
Okay.
I'm exactly with you. Cabernet, Chile.
That's all? That is too short.
Oh. You want me to talk? I can talk for 20 minutes.
Not 20 minutes, but a little bit longer.
Okay. I thought the wine was quite well done. Very Chile, the sort of quince character for me. It had a hint of the boot polish, which I associate with the lower priced wines, but just a hint of it, which is how somehow the oak shows up. It had like dried gunpowder to me, cordite, which is a note for me of Cabernet Sauvignon. The nose was the same as the palate.
Peter, being foreign born in this country and you talking about gunpowder, you could find yourself in prison.
They could send me to prison, it's okay, as long as they don't make me drink some of the other wine.
You mean this one?
I mean, I'm going to wind up in prison. I'm going to be in the same cell as the guy from Miami.
Sounds really terrible.
Exactly. This time into the tasting when it doesn't make a big statement because it's kind of well-mannered. Well, well-mannered doesn't cut it, so you have to be badly mannered to be noticed.
I see.
Acceptable wine, Cabernet Sauvignon, Chile.
All right. Number 6. It's Errazuriz.
Errazuriz.
Yeah, Max 2017. Cabernet Sauvignon Reserva.
And what does make it difficult, as Peter's saying,
Oh, where's it from?
Aconcagua, yeah. When a wine that, as Peter says, has good manners, meaning has some elegance, is sandwiched in between two blockbuster wines that have lots of oak, too much of everything, it's easy to not be able to pay the right amount of attention to that wine, in part that your palate is still a little bit blown out from the first one. The wine has elegance,
Yeah.
and I'd be happy drinking.
I agree. Very nice wine, not trying to make a statement.
I love this wine.
Yeah.
You love what?
I love this wine.
Oh, yeah.
I love this one.
Okay. What do you think of that label?
The label is very busy, but way better than this one.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't look at that. Gives me a headache.
Well, this one is better than this one.
We can agree on wine, and obviously we're not going to agree on labels.
Peter, number 7.
Number 7. Okay, the colors are pretty much as for number 5, except that this is got a touch more garnet than the deep ruby mulberry of number 5. It's also got that big full oak on the nose. It's opaque black. We're getting close again to recipe winemaking. On the nose, for me, it was another abomination. And then I tasted it. It's way better on the palate than it is on the nose. Less sweet than I expected. Still overwhelmed by all the oak. Some minerality. Big wine. It's relatively well done.
It's definitely warm climate. It's got raisins on the nose, on the palate. It's got a little bit of eucalyptus on it as well. Very rich, extracted, tannic, dense wine. It reminds me of those wines with the circus labels that we had the other day. Though
It's better than that.
Yeah, with the exception that this is better done.
Yeah.
And so for somebody who likes that style of big, rich, extracted wines, go for it.
This is more authentic. There's a hint of recipe usage here, but not to the same extent.
And it's only a couple dollars more.
Yeah. This is a winemaker who sometime way back in his past he believed in God. He's given that up now, but he did for a while believe in God.
Can we see what it is before Rabbi cough?
Gives his sermon, right?
Yes, exactly.
All right. This one is Luis M. Martini.
Louis Martini.
Appellation is Sonoma County, 2017 Cabernet Sauvignon. Then the price is $17. So it's only $2 more than the circus labels like Petit. And I believe
Okay, compare those two labels now.
this one is done by Luis M. Martini too.
Now compare the labels. Tell me which one's better.
I find Luis M. Martini is better than Ghost Pines.
I can just tell you some classic ways of looking at this. Both of them have got too much white in them. But this one, that's fucking like a plate of rice.
A plate of rice?
There's so much white there.
Are you insulting rice in front of our viewers?
Hold on, I've got a shovel. If you want to dig deeper, Peter, I'll go fetch you one.
I didn't insult rice. I insulted white.
You insulted white. All right.
Why don't we do the final wine? So garnet, purple in color. And on this wine, I do get a lot of shoe polish. I didn't know if I should drink it or if I should polish my shoes with it. Considering I don't have shoes on, I have sandals, I decided I had to drink it or taste it.
Instead of pouring it on your extremities, you dislike it so much, you pour it inside.
A little bit green, some dark fruit, full-bodied. The shoe polish just ruins the wine for me. And so I would not be able to drink it. Because I had some quince, I went to Chile with it. It's probably Cabernet based.
With too much shoe polish.
Too much shoe polish.
I'm Chilean Cabernet here. And
I far preferred the Max to this wine.
I smell a lot of shoe polish too.
Yeah. But let's see what it is.
what brand of shoe polish?
What brand of shoe polish?
Shinola.
You don't know any brands of shoe polish because you never polish your shoes.
Could you say something more about the last wine?
I've said plenty.
No, you said just 3 or 4 words.
Well, that's all he needs. Yeah.
I've been talking all the time. I said it was Cabernet Sauvignon. I like the bright color. There's not much more to say.
All right, then number 8, Montes Alpha, 2017 from Colchagua Valley and Cabernet Sauvignon. Price is 17.
Montes is in a beautiful location, and their wines can sometimes be stunning. This one just did not do it for me. I like the Max better.
17 and the Dollarim.
No, $17.
Dollar is 17 and the vintage.
Vintage is 2017 as well.
Okay.
Whenever I had this Montes Alpha, I always smelled lots of shoe polish.
Really?
Yeah.
To me, the interesting wines here were the Chilean wines, as to how much the Chileans have been permitted to raise their prices over the years. 10 years ago, they were happy to get $6-7 for these wines.
Well, yes and no. They were getting those low prices at the entry-level wines. The Max is not I don't believe it's the entry-level Errazuriz wine. Montes always sold at a premium relative to many of the other producers. So,
Yeah, especially Montes Alpha.
yeah.
The basic line is Montes.
What was interesting is that the green quince character was less pronounced in the Chilean wines as a group than they used to be.
as you develop, some of those markers are an indication of things you need to improve.
Right. It was part vineyard and part climate. So in the state of California, there's a moderating, cooling influence that comes off the Pacific Ocean. In Chile, there are mountains running up and down Chile just like there are up and down the Californian coast. So the same things are in effect in terms of ocean currents and upwelling of cooler deep water to cause the water off the coast of Chile to be colder than you would anticipate based upon its latitude. And so in that sense, there's some similarities between Chile and California. Where they're different is that we have the coastal mountain range in California, and they've got the Andes. And the Andes are much taller. The Andes are snow-capped, and you have cold air funneling down at night as well. So you're having two cooling effects at nighttime. So they often have even bigger shifts between daytime high and nighttime low than we do.
Can you explain a little bit about shoe polish characteristic?
I never notice on expensive wine. I notice on lower priced wines.
And is it definitely a fault?
It's not a fault. I don't like it.
I think it may be related in part to some pyrazines. So that class of compound, if you don't have a certain ripeness on some compounds, it just changes the aromatic or the flavor.
It seems to me I smell it more often when the wines are greener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which wines did you guys like the most? Or are you going to ask us?
Yeah, exactly. So would you pick 2 best and 2 worst?
The worst is the easiest.
I'd like to taste a couple over again.
All right. What do you want to taste? Number 2?
I'd like to taste Jadot, the first
Jadot.
one. That's great, thank you. Pour me a taste of the third wine.
All right. Don't you want to retaste?
No,
Just kidding.
I know.
What was his name, the guy who used to be in the MW?
It's Chadwick.
Chadwick.
Eduardo
Eduardo Chadwick.
And he's a wonderful guy.
Lovely guy.
May I also try the Ghost Pines?
All right.
You'd think he wasn't here for this tasting.
I think Patrick loves the wines.
Okay, so my 2 favorite wines are the Burgundy, the Jadot, and the Errazuriz, the Max.
Jadot and Max.
And
Yes.
your worst wine?
And my worst wine is going to be the Miami.
The Miami.
Yeah.
Okay. So you and I are close. My best wine is the Burgundy. My second best was a very, very close toss-up between the Bordeaux and the Ghost Pines, and then Miami was my worst wine by far.
You picked only one worst wine.
No, with a wine that bad,
Yes, that is.
it
that is a
doesn't.
clear
It doesn't.
winner.
We shouldn't have another worst wine
Yeah.
because everything else was so much better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
It's not fair to the other ones to put them in the same class.
Yeah, I agree.
That one stands completely on its own.
Yeah.
Falls actually completely on its own.
I believe these wines are, most of them are very famous here in America.
Yes, yeah, all well known.
My oh my, sweet. I'm trying to sing this song. How does it go? My oh my, there's something. Anyway.
When I think of a song for that one is na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Though they're laughing all the way to the bank because they sell a massive amount of the wine, and that wine.
And they don't pay a winemaker very much.
What they do is they threat to the winemakers that make it the way we want it, otherwise you're going to have to drink the last couple of vintages.
So don't forget to subscribe and leave a like.
That's right. Not two, because then it gets cancelled out.
It really happened, Peter.
Subscribe and give us a like.
Yeah, a like.
A like. I wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Except for this number 2.
Destroys what little faith I have in humankind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I tasted this number 2, when I opened the bottle, I told just myself, oh.
Oh, no. Wine, oh.
Patrick and Peter are gonna say something about that. I was so sure.
구독자 20만이 되면 토이스토리의 버즈가 되어 돌아오겠다.
Since I have become a master of wine, I've never had to work so hard for a drink.
이럴 땐 이 와인 네이버 밴드로 놀러 오시면 와인을 잘 몰라도 편하고 싸게 사실 수 있도록 제가 많이 도와드립니다. 다들 만족하시고 좋아하시더라고요.